Yo, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? So, we got ourselves the final episode of The Cheap Magician, and it kind of ended the way I wanted it to end in the grand scheme of them leaving their comfort zone, like leaving this area and getting to, like actually experience something different, So I thought that was a really smart idea, and there's like a whole entire world out there that's utterly different than one that they've been living in. And to think that they were just going to spend it all in one kingdom seemed kind of stupid to me. But I'm glad they decided to change that. And it looks like we'll be getting some relatively interesting stuff next season whenever that decides to drop. My god, Trunks, they made you better. But overall, this week's episode really did push the boundaries of just how this guy is supposed to be a cheat. Like, not just saying he is one, and actually giving us a good understanding of what it means to be that broken, right? Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, he's a cheat, and then he doesn't really do anything that warrants, that crazy amount of a power. But oh man, they definitely went there and showed us what they meant by that. So I'm kind of glad they did that finally. We get to see just how ridiculous amount of power has been being held back. So somehow, some way, even when he didn't have the full like power of the summon that he had, he was still capable of getting so much power that he frightened the person that was giving him the temporary boost, in the case of like, oh well, you don't even need my help, so why the heck am I, like, even going to go into my true form to then give you even more extreme, like, crazy power. Not only that, if anybody knew how his body was like reacting and handling it, it would be her, right? So for her to be like, oh well, I didn't know if you could handle my full power or whatever, if you were gonna, wind up not being able to handle it and being overwhelmed or something like that, I didn't want that for you. So there was a whole bunch of different things being told to us in the grand scheme of like why certain decisions were being made, but overall it didn't really give us that much more of a reasoning to why she was still this powerful and not using her full power, right? But we didn't really need to know that, only because it didn't matter anymore, because he was going to get all that powder, all that power, uh, eventually. And by getting it, boy, oh boy, was it a wrap. Um, Not only did he pretty much hold back and not really tap into anything serious while in this part, his power mode, excuse me, he didn't he didn't use anything out of the norm, right? Like, he literally just punched and then kind of used wind and electric, right? Like, it was a casual use. It wasn't like he even aimed it and had to shoot it forward, and it was like a huge blast that destroyed stuff behind it and stuff like that. No, it was just literally him doing what needed to be done at the moment, and that was about it. He literally just punched this person to death. Like, he didn't even really need to use the power, I feel like, of the wind and all that stuff. I feel like that was just a good way of showing that it was over, maybe? I'm not sure, but he also had a katana, guys. He had a sword that he just didn't use, So this man is beyond broken now. Like, he was already broken, but now he's beyond that point of broken. He's jumped very far past it. Not only did the summon destroy the dark magic that was within the air, but all of this stuff that supposedly was transpiring was part of the plan, was something that was supposed to happen regardless of the full outcome of the battle being won or lost for the guy who loses his head over losing the battle, right? Like, this world is so deep rooted in realism that it's kind of scary. Like, think about it. If it was back in those times and you were a king and you just decided to run up on another kingdom and try to take them out, you lose that battle. What do you think happened to that king and like his whole entire family and heirs and stuff? You know what I mean? Like, this is how it goes. I mean, to be fair, I feel like it wasn't even that guy's fault anymore. You know, like, it literally was not anything he like planned on when it came down to the grand scheme of those people turning the way that they did. It's just the simple fact that he was a part of, you know, trying to attack the kingdom. He was a part of being, you know, some reasons of the people's deaths that were happening that didn't really, you know, that happened beforehand, before all the crazy stuff started popping off. So it didn't matter regardless of when that stuff happened. The other kingdom already was about to have his head. So I was surprised that our main character didn't like vouch for him strong enough, right? Like, hey, when I got there, he didn't even know what was going on. Someone clearly was, you know, manipulating him into doing what he was doing. So, you know, give him hear him out. You know, he lost his brother who he thought was on his side, who was another one who was on the other side. So that's what I'm saying. There's like a lot that you can vouch for him, but none of that was even said or done. And I think it's, I mean, it probably mainly has to do to the person who was there to even witness all this stuff being asleep, and the kingdom just doing what they're supposed to do when someone threatens their people and stuff. So holy crap, man. I'm saying, this show has some of the craziest, like, realistic outcomes in a show usually. I mean, even when he accepted this power, a power that was strong enough to dispel like the darkness from the sky and stuff like that, he considered himself not human anymore. Almost fully transferring him, or confirming himself to be like a, you know, something a step above a god, or god, something above a human, something you know, something just different than a human. I don't know what he wanted to prefer himself as, but maybe by preferring himself as a summoner, he may have felt like he was already relatively not human anymore because of how much power a summoner wields. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, he gets, you know, a couple of pep talks that he needs to hear from the people that he saved, and if he didn't, you know, step up and do the things that he did, could have wound up dead quite some time ago. So that was good for him to hear. But at the same time, we're still kind of stuck in a place where everybody we watch grow in this show is still very reliant on our main character, and it's fair because he has a power that they never expected anybody that they meet in their lifetime to have. Even the girl herself is special because she can use like every single magic type, and that's crazy. But to know someone that is capable of some type of magic that, you know, beats and actually defeats the dark magic, which isn't even one of the things that, you know, one of the infinities that they can get, they were pretty blown back by that fact, right? Like, they're like, oh man, like, are you serious? This is pretty ridiculous to see that regardless of what we do right now, we'll probably, oh, that would have been sick. I got an idea for that. We'll probably be, you know, always behind Taichi. Like, they know that they're powerful, they know that they've come pretty far, but they'll never be as powerful as this kid who's, you know, like, saved their whole entire kingdom now. And that's the weird part of his, like, storyline, is just when all that happens, where do you go from there, right? Like, where do you actually take this character now? And I think like doing dungeons and just getting him stronger over time would be a really cool thing to see. And then, when this girl shows herself, he'll be like a complete different new character with new different battling styles or something along those lines, where maybe he doesn't even have to summon upon uh, one of the gods of the spirits. Like, one of the four great spirits is on his side as well. So that kind of puts into perspective just how ridiculous of a cheat he really is. But overall, it was a fun episode. It was a fun episode and a series to watch. I recommend it if you'd like to just turn off your brain and watch stuff. But at the same time, there's some aspects in this show that actually gave me the feeling that if you're not paying attention to some small key details, you might miss out on something easily. And I thought that was the saving grace of this show. I thought that was the true part that kind of gave me the hope that there's more to come, and not only more to come, but they're going to do some crazy stuff in season 2 if they get the chance, or it's going to actually be what the show probably wanted to be, was more relaxed, having fun, going on adventures, meeting new people, and maybe those people's tagging along, stuff like that. But it was more focused on saving this kingdom, learning the troubles that come within this kingdom, and then seeing that the person who helped start this war is still right nearby our forces and our people that we enjoy to protect. So not only do we have a traitor within the kingdom, we also have our main characters leaving said kingdom for other places. So that could already spark some interesting things for our season 2. So with that being said, I am your boy, the Anime J, and I will definitely talk to you very soon with something special that came out that I think it's over within this one episode. I'm not sure. I'll have to see if anybody knows later, but we'll see. But if you are interested in what this next drop's going to be, just make sure you are paying attention to your boy's channel when it goes up, and when it does, let me know what you guys are feeling about all this stuff. But with all that being said, peace.